If you're a PCS in a Fort Belvoir and feeling a little lost about where to start your home search, don't worry, you are in the right place. Moving could be a whirlwind, especially when you're trying to figure out an entirely new area. My name is Crystal Walker with Ask a Walker, and I am here to answer all your questions about where to live in Northern Virginia so you can feel more confident in your decision and get settled faster. When my husband and I relocated to the area 11 and a half years ago, we did the bare minimum amount of research. We didn't know what was where, the difference between one county to the next, and we definitely didn't know anything about specific neighborhoods. So in today's video, I'm gonna cover everything from what it's like to live in Northern Virginia, discuss commute times in certain areas, highlight a few neighborhoods you might wanna call home, and even explain how your BAH translates into an actual monthly mortgage payment. My hope is that by the end, you'll have a handle on which areas might suit your budget and lifestyle best. If you want even more info, or if you're ready to take the next step, then I encourage you to check the link down in the description to schedule your perfect home consultation. That way we can meet virtually to hash out your priorities, answer any remaining questions you may have, and create a solid plan for finding your next home. Before we dive into specific neighborhoods though, let's talk about Northern Virginia in general and how Fort Belvoir fits into the picture. Northern Virginia is a huge region stretching from Arlington right on the edge of Washington, D.C. to more suburban and even rural areas like Stafford County. Because of this massive range, you'll find a variety of lifestyles, price points, and commuting possibilities. But what's consistent about much of Northern Virginia is that it's known for its top-ranked public schools. We have plenty of tech hubs, data centers, and an abundance of dining and shopping options. So whether you're someone who likes high-end malls and modern restaurants, or more cozy boutiques and family-owned diners, there's a good chance you're gonna find your niche somewhere in this region. To get your bearings, let's do a quick rundown of the main areas. First up, we have Arlington, right next to Washington, D.C. It's gonna be home to the Pentagon. Now, that's gonna be a dense, walkable area full of high-rises and condo buildings. Then we have the city of Alexandria, a small independent city located just south of Arlington. Old Town Alexandria is famous for its waterfront and cobblestone streets. Third, we have Fairfax County. This is gonna be the biggest county in Northern Virginia with over 1.1 million residents. It's really diverse and has both highly urbanized areas like Tyson's Corner and more traditional suburbs like Burke or Springfield. Fourth area is gonna be Loudoun County. If you go northwest from Fairfax, you'll end up there. You're gonna see a mix of new suburban developments, small historic towns, and they have a thriving tech industry there. Fifth, we have Prince William County, which is just south of Fairfax. It includes areas like Woodbridge, Manassas, and Gainesville, and has a balance of suburban and rural pockets. Okay, and then finally we have Stafford County. It's the southernmost part of the region. It offers a quieter, more rural feel than many of the other areas we're going to talk about, though it's still part of the greater Washington metro area. Now, some locals will tell you they do not consider Stafford to be part of Northern Virginia, but I say that if it's in Virginia and enough people commute to the area's major employment hubs, it counts. So this area has urban, suburban, and rural communities. So Arlington, Fairfax, and Alexandria are gonna be denser and more urban, although Fairfax is definitely mostly suburban, with numerous job centers and extensive shopping and dining. Loudoun County, Prince William County, and Stafford tend to be a little bit further out. They're gonna be more suburban and even rural, and it has a lot of newer construction and lower population density. Now, Fort Belvoir is going to be in southeastern Fairfax County. It's around 20 miles from DC, 16 miles from the Pentagon, and it's only 24 miles from Quantico. Because Fairfax County is so large, you might assume that it's going to be your best bet as far as somewhere to live if you want a short commute, but that's not always going to be the case. Depending on your specific location in Fairfax, you might still face a hefty drive, especially during rush hour. Meanwhile, certain pockets of Prince William County might offer a more direct route to Fort Belvoir, saving you some time and some traffic headaches. That's why it's so important to look at a map, check traffic patterns, and maybe even talk to people who've done that commute before. Let's look at how you'll get around. For starters, there's gonna be I-95. Now, I-95 is the big one. If you're commuting from southern areas like Prince William or Stafford County, you'll likely use I-95 at some point. Keep in mind that this highway is notorious for its heavy traffic. It was once called the worst traffic hotspot in the entire country. Then there's 395, that's gonna branch off from 95 closer to DC and heads north towards the Pentagon and Arlington. Now, Route 1, also known as Richmond Highway, is gonna be parallel to I-95 in many spots, and that's really gonna be a useful alternative, although it does still have a lot of traffic because of all the traffic lights and congestion. One particular area to be aware of is gonna be the Mixing Bowl, where I-495, 395, and I-95 converge. It's gonna be a busy interchange just a few miles north of Fort Belvoir, so you wanna account for traffic delays if you're coming from certain directions. Most parts of Northern Virginia are gonna be within an hour's drive of Fort Belvoir, assuming there's light traffic, which, if we're being honest, doesn't happen very often. Traffic here is predictable in the sense that you know there's always going to be traffic during rush hour. But you can get creative with your schedule, like leaving a little bit earlier or later than peak times. Or if you live close to the base, you can make your commute a little bit easier. Generally, I recommend looking at homes in southern Fairfax County or the easternmost parts of Prince William County if you want to keep your commute to a manageable time. All right, so let's switch gears just a bit and talk about your BAH and how that might translate into your actual monthly mortgage. The 2025 BAH rates have gone up by an average of 5.4% nationally, but in the DC metro area, the increase was only 2.9%. At the moment, an E6 with dependents gets about $3,459, and an 04 has a rate of $4,122 with dependents. Honestly, Northern Virginia isn't cheap. Many families moving here end up spending somewhere between $600,000 and $900,000 on a home, though there are certainly properties above and below that price range. The final numbers depend on your personal finances, how big of a home you need, and your preferred location. To give you a realistic scenario, imagine you purchase a home for around $600,000 with zero down using your VA loan benefit. And let's give you an interest rate of around 6.5%. Now, under those circumstances, you might see a monthly payment around $4,600, which would include your principal, interest, insurance, property taxes, and possibly your HOA fees. Now, this is just an example. Of course, if that payment sounds like too much, you can always look for ways to lower it, like shopping around for a better interest rate or putting a bit of money down. On the other hand, if that's within your comfort zone, then $600,000 might be a good place to start your home search. Just remember that in this market, your BAH may not fully cover your entire mortgage. It's all about knowing your numbers so you can jump on the right home when it appears, especially in a fast-moving market. And that brings you to my next point, buying sight unseen. The Northern Virginia market can be highly competitive, with well-priced homes going under contract just days after being listed. If you can only make one trip here to tour properties, you might find that they've all been snapped up by the time you circle back to make an offer. Now, that can be very frustrating, but it's just how competitive this market can be sometimes. For that reason, nearly all of our relocation clients are prepared to buy sight unseen if necessary. Now, we do in-depth personalized tours. Think of them more like a more detailed version of Abraham's new construction property tours, where he shows you the entire property via video, pointing out every detail he thinks you'd notice in person. So you'll still get a chance to see the layout, the backyard, the closets, the mechanical systems, anything that will make you feel comfortable before making a decision. We've had numerous clients stationed overseas who didn't set foot into their new house until well after closing. And they've all been very happy with their decision because Abraham made sure to highlight everything, both the good and the bad, so there are no surprises. So if you're open to that strategy, it can give you a big leg up. That way you don't have to rely on scheduling multiple trips here, and you can move more quickly if a home you love hits the market. All right, so now let's get to the good part. We're gonna check out potential neighborhoods and communities within various drive times of Fort Belvoir. The commute here is a major part of finding a home, so I'm going to break it down by approximate drive time: 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and even an hour. If your dream is to be within 15 minutes of Fort Belvoir, you're likely going to want to focus on Lorton or the Franconia-Kingstown area of Alexandria. Lorton is at the southernmost tip of Fairfax County, maybe 6.5 miles or so from Fort Belvoir, and it has a mix of single-family homes and townhouses. An average home might run you just over $700,000. In subdivisions like Laurel Highlands, there are going to be townhouses with 3 or more bedrooms, anywhere from 2,000 to maybe 2,500 square feet range. And there are also going to be bigger single-family homes that can hit up to 5,000 square feet. The nice thing about Lorton is that I-95 goes right through it, and there's also going to be the Lorton VRE station if you prefer to take the train. On the other side of things, we have Kingstown. A townhouse in Kingstown in the $600,000 price range is usually going to give you 3 bedrooms, maybe 2.5 to 3 bathrooms, and a finished basement. In both locations, you're gonna find grocery stores, restaurants, shopping, and other suburban amenities. It's classic Fairfax suburbia where everything is nearby. If you're okay with a commute of maybe 30 minutes or so, then West Springfield comes into play. West Springfield's average home value is gonna be just shy of $870,000, though you'll see a wide variety of home styles and price points. It's a nice option if you wanna be a bit removed from the hustle of the closer in areas, but still remain in Fairfax County. A typical single-family home can cost anywhere from $650,000 to $900,000. In West Springfield, you'll find colonials, ramblers, or even split-level detached homes. Playgrounds, parks, and shopping centers are all plentiful in West Springfield. And you have quick access to major roads like the Fairfax County Parkway. West Springfield is quite popular, not just with people who are moving to the area, but also with locals because it has some of the top-rated schools in Fairfax County. Homes can go very quickly, so if you're interested in this particular area, my best advice would be to plan ahead. You'll definitely want to start your home search sooner than you'd expect. So stretching out about 45 minutes from Fort Belvoir, you might look into Prince William County, particularly Woodbridge and a Lake Ridge subdivision. Lake Ridge is built around Old Bridge Road, which leads you straight to Route 1 for a direct path to the base. This area offers a lot of recreational options such as multiple swimming pools, sports fields, walking trails, and water activities along the Occoquan River. Homes in Lake Ridge can range anywhere from 1,000 to 4,000 square feet, and the cost of a single-family home averages around $615,000. At that price point, you can get a 3 to 5 bedroom single-family home with at least 2,000 square feet of living space, which is a noticeable difference compared to what you'll get for the money in Fairfax County. Some prefer Lake Ridge because they want a slightly slower pace, plus the Occoquan Historic District is right there, offering waterfront restaurants and local bars for a change of scenery. But if you're set on staying in Fairfax County, and that's sometimes the case for folks with school-age kids, then you might want to check out Burke Center. It's about the same distance, a roughly 45-minute commute depending on traffic. Townhomes typically range from about $450,000 to $750,000, while single-family homes average around $870,000. Quite the difference between those two communities, right? In Burke Center, you'll find all kinds of architectural styles and plenty of amenities like pools, community centers, and trails. Families are often drawn to Burke for its combination of the suburban feel, but also those really highly rated schools at all grade levels. Finally, if you don't mind commuting an hour or more, you might want to explore Stafford County, which sits south of Prince William and is about 25 to 30 miles from Fort Belvoir. Stafford has a more rural vibe in many areas, and it often features considerably larger lots and gives you much more home for your money. But the caveat here is that the traffic on I-95 can be heavy, so no matter what your navigation system says, you might want to add at least 10 minutes to your travel time. My advice if you're interested in Stafford is to be strategic and narrow your search to the northernmost parts of Stafford County and focus on communities that are near an on-ramp. For example, Aquia Harbor. That's a gated community and is actually the largest planned community in all of the state of Virginia. The community includes the typical amenities like swimming pools and tennis courts, but then they also have horse stables, a country club, and even a golf course. And you get all of that with an average sales price of just about $530,000 for a single family home. And those homes are usually anywhere between 1,100 and 5,000 square feet. For the cost of a small townhouse in Fairfax County, you can get a 2,500 plus square foot single family home in Stafford. You're gonna find homes built in the 1980s all the way to brand new construction sitting on spacious lots that give you plenty of privacy. Speaking of new construction, that's going to be more prevalent in Stafford than in much of Fairfax and Prince William counties. So if you're hoping for a modern floor plan or a home that hasn't been lived in yet, then Stafford might be where to look for it. Stafford's going to be a solid option if you don't mind a commute in exchange for a bigger home, a more peaceful environment, and a potential to stretch your dollars a little bit further. If you're a fan of the outdoors, you'll appreciate its natural beauty, the hiking trails, and the lower population density compared to the other parts of the region. All right, so now I'm gonna give you a few rapid fire tips before I get out of here. Number one is to start your search early. If you know your PCS and don't wait until the last minute, the earlier you start exploring homes and neighborhoods, the less stressful it's gonna be. Number two is be flexible. You might end up bumping up your budget or adjusting your commute time once you see what's available. And that's okay because most people do the same. Number three is consider schools. If you have kids, remember that school districts can vary widely even within the same county. So do your homework and figure out which neighborhoods feed into which schools. We have a lot of videos on top schools in each county on the channel. Number four, take traffic seriously. Don't rely solely on a single map search at 2 p.m. on a Sunday. Check morning and afternoon rush times. Make sure you check a few different times to get a better idea of what your commute's gonna look like on a day-to-day basis. Number five, be prepared to make a quick decision. In a hot market, homes can receive multiple offers. So if you find something that suits your needs, you're gonna wanna act fast. And that might mean that you don't have the chance to sleep on it sometimes. And that's not to pressure you, I just wanna set the expectations from the beginning. All right, so that wraps up our PCS guide to Fort Belvoir. We've covered a lot, right? From the basics of living in Northern Virginia to the location of Fort Belvoir itself, potential neighborhoods that you might like, all within different commute ranges. Hopefully now you feel more equipped to navigate the home buying process around here and maybe a little bit excited about moving to Northern Virginia. If you're ready to chat one-on-one, click the link in the description or give us a call. We're here to help you figure out exactly where to start your home search, what price point makes sense, and how to navigate the unique challenges of buying in this market, whether you're here in person or doing everything virtually. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this video smooths out some of the bumps of your PCS journey. I wish you the best of luck in your move, and I will see you in the next video.